Hello everybody, welcome to the Sound Test Room. Today we are taking a look at Playbeat 3 by Audio Modern and how you can create your own projects and also create your own packs, and you can share your packs with other people. You can even sell them on Gumroad and places like that if you want to. Anyway, Playbeat is awesome. So I've made this morning and I've made a few adjustments and put them in a few presets. Okay, so let's stop this. First thing we're going to do is go into the preset library here, like this, and we shall look for, let's go to factory presets, and we are looking for one called Zero State, and we'll find this near the bottom of the list. We can scroll down here. Here you go, Zero State, and it will open as Zero State anyway. So when you create a project from, when you first open the app, you'll get Zero State. So what we're going to do is fill up this. Now you'll first see that we have 16 steps here, and if we play our playhead, it goes across 16. Okay, we can leave that on 128, it doesn't matter, but bearing in mind the default tempo when you open it is normally 120 anyway. But when this is running as an AUV3, it will sync to your DAW. So if you're using loops, be aware of the original tempo of your loop sort of thing, so you can set the tempo correctly in your host like AUM or Cubasis or whatever. Anyway, we'll leave it on 128, doesn't really matter. First thing I'm going to do is set this to 32, so we have 32 steps, and I am going to increase the play length there like this. We can stop that for a moment. So now we've basically got 2 bars. Okay, so let's tap on here and give it a name to start with. So I'm just going to go save, and I'll call this TSTR video, so we know where we're at, and I'll just hit save. Okay, so the idea here, and there's our set of places where we can import our samples from 1 to 8 here. And when they're imported, we'll be able to audition them here. So it's best to keep saving regularly, okay? In case you go to another patch or something, you'll lose what you've done, or you close the app or whatever. And so save regularly. So I've now saved this as TSTR video. I'm going to click on this first slot here, and then you can go to your preset browser. Now, earlier on today, to save time, I created a folder inside of Audio Share, but you can put a folder anywhere you like. And I called it Playbeat 3. And I've got 8 instruments that I am going to import into Playbeat here. Right, so I know this first one is Table Talker. This is a kick drum. So I'm going to open it up, and it'll put my kick drum here, and I can audition. Now, all these samples I'm using are from Dean Daughters, from Electronic Sounds, from packs that he's made. So if you're interested in stuff like that, you can go and check his channel. There's always a link in for Electronic Sounds in the description of the video. Right, anyway. So let's go to our second slot here, and I have got a snare. So I think that's it there. So I'm just going to tap on this. And so I've imported my snare. I'm going to go here, and I am going to stick these hi-hats I've got. So click on that. I think this might have been one of mine. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it was. And then we can add as we like. So I'm going to add some bass here. So add in a bass guitar, which was another one of mine. So, but you could find a better sample than that, right? Number 5, I shall add in, what's this? Maybe this synth sound here. Okay. Number 6, I'll add in this other synth sound. Number 7, I'm going to add in this chord. Awesome stuff. And in this last one, I am going to add some vinyl noise, a vinyl noise sample. So, which is from Dean's Noise Candy. So when you've loaded up your samples that you want to work with in your project, like I said, it's probably a good idea to select 8 samples first, because it'll save you tons of time going through samples and trying to find stuff that what you want to use. And it's just easier, you know. When you've done that, again, just for, you know, safety's sake, hit save and just click save again, and it'll get ready. So if the app closes, or I close it, or I go to a different preset, I can always come back to my TSTR video. Now, before I go any further here, I'm going to scroll down here. You'll see I have a folder here, which is a bank. I have a pack bank here called TSTR. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this new project we've created, pick it up. So just, right, come on. Pick it up, move it around, and I'm going to grab it and stick it into TSTR. And now if I open my folder, you'll see it's there. And there's 3 other projects I made over the last couple of days. Right, so the one you've just been listening to, that one, and then we've got our new one, which is TSTR videos. So I'm going to open this. And now all I need to do is start to add in the samples just to get a basic pattern going. Okay, so let's just start with adding some kicks in like this. And okay, now like I said, we can put this on any tempo you like. I'm going to go to my mixer and just turn that up a little bit. Now, some of the things we can do, right, if we select, see where it says all here, that means that any changes I make to this section here will affect everything if this is on all. Okay, so I'm just going to select this, and you'll see that it goes to sample edit now, and it tells me the sample I'm using. And I can also now go in here and change the sample if I want to for some other sample, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it as it is. Now I'm going to go into sample edit, and we can see we can have a fade in, fade out. And if I did this, or we can set the start point somewhere else, but that's absolutely fine. But just be aware that you do have some control over your sample. Okay, so that's, you know, handy to know. Okay, so let's add in another, let's put that back on. Let's add in some of our snares, shall we? So, okay. I'm going to add in a bunch of these hi-hats now. Okay, cool. Again, you know, while I'm thinking about what to do next, just hit save. Click on save. Go back to our pattern. Now, there are certain things we can do. I'll show you before I start to populate this any further. These are the patterns that I kind of pre-saved for the last session that I did. But if I choose a new number here now, it will use these sounds to play what I already had, sort of thing. But I want to keep this as it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to long hold number 8. And you'll see it'll blink. And now this preset, it says preset 1, is now this. If I go to a different one, okay. Now it's going to go back to what I originally programmed with nothing else in there. So I'm going to add in something else. What was on this one? Let's see. Was it bass? Now, the cool thing is, my samples are going to cut themselves off. But, like I said, select number 4, go to sample edit, now we can go in and make further adjustments. So say for instance, we want this to be more melodic. I'm going to put that on there for the start off on the first beat. And I'm going to have these kind of go along with the kick. So. Okay, but I'm now going to go in and change the notes up. So to do this, all we need to do is make sure we're selected on, well, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to hit pitch now. And you'll see I can re-pitch any of the notes that I'm using. So maybe we could go, right, okay, I'm going to take this down to say well, no, let's not go completely nuts. Let's take it down to A2 and maybe stick this on a D3. I'll take this down to a G2, leave that on C3, leave that on C3. I'm now tuning up my bass line note-wise. So let's take this one up a complete octave. Here we go. So let's see how that sounds now. Okay, epic stuff. Now, if we go to density, listen to the hi-hats, we can put ratchets in. So if I go to my mixer, let's turn that up. So, density now, we're going to put ratchets on some of these. Sort that snare out. Okay. Right. Now check this out, right? I'll go back to steps. I am going to hold number, did I do it number 7? I'm going to long hold number 7 and it's flashed, right? So this is now number 7 and this is number 8 because we saved it when we were at this point. Epic. So we can add flat volume and panning. So let's add another instrument in for now. So maybe let's see what's going on here. Okay. I'm going to save this one as it is now as this. So all I need to do is tap it if there's nothing already in there. So if it already has a number in, what you have to do is literally long hold until it flashes and it overwrites the previous preset sort of thing. Okay, so now number 7 won't have this synth in and number 8 won't have the bass in, but number 6 will. Okay, it's very, very cool, right? We can also change the length of any particular channel. So if I was to say, well, let's make this really busy, this number 5. I could say, slow it down to 1/8. Now we're going to get kind of a longer variable pattern. Let's add something else in here. Numbers on pattern number 6 now. Okay, I'm going to save this as this one. Okay, and I'm going to make some adjustments to the pitch for this. I could play with the density if I wanted to, see how that sounds. Can't really hear it. Or we could select it, edit the sample, select. I think it sounds nice with the sustain on now, so. We also have flam, so if we look at our snare, go to flam, put a bit of variation on that. Let's look at panning and pan some of these hi-hats. If you're wearing the headphones, you'll hear that now. So this is number 5. So long hold just to overwrite and make sure. That's what on number 7. Right. I'm going to slow this one down as well. So select it here. And on here, I'm going to put another one. But I'm going to tune this one down. How awesome is that? Let's save this one as number 4. Let's go back to 5, and this will go. Awesome stuff. Now, let's put in our vinyl sample. Now, because it's a long sample, it's never going to go away, but it will cut itself off when it reaches the end of the sequence. So we could extend the length as well if we wanted to, of course. We could make it like slower, but really, you wouldn't really notice with a noise sample anyway. Okay, look, watch, let's do something here. I'm gonna overwrite the pattern I had for number 1, and that's gonna be this. I haven't overwritten 2 yet, so that's from earlier. Now I'm going to do some cool stuff. I'm going to mute this. And this is going to be number 2. So long hold. We know this is number 2. Number 7 I'm going to bring up in the mix. How this works. Whatever you change on these presets, as long as if you click a blank one, for example, it will literally be the same if I clicked any of these. But now I could say, well, okay, I'm going to change this pattern up. Awesome. Now long hold 3, because you've made alterations to the pattern. Awesome. And then this is where you were at the beginning. Now, save. You're only saving your pattern, by the way. You're not. The presets will always be there until you decide to overwrite them. Okay, so if I change to a different kit now, these presets would still be applicable, but play the sounds. Now, here's a cool thing, watch. Let's switch this to 2 and switch infinite on, and every single time this passes around twice, it's going to vary up the pattern. Then just hit your preset to go back to where you were. You can also apply various randomization options here. So this will randomize it slightly. Done with that, reset. Now I think that the vinyl noise should be in every track. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to long hold 8 and it will flash go to 7, put the vinyl in, long hold, go to 6, put the vinyl in, long hold, go to 4, put the vinyl in, long hold, it's in 3, it's in 2, it's in 1, and now I'm going to solo this and I'm going to put this here. So if there's nothing in it, I only have to click it once, okay? See? So then I could say, well, bring in this and maybe this snare. some adjustments just for fun. I'm gonna tap this, and that's now pattern 10. Okay, now when you're randomizing, for example, let's get onto something busy. This will gonna randomize quite a lot. It's gonna randomize everything. Okay, you can lock certain parameters. So if we lock this here, and maybe lock the snare and the kick, now we randomize these, and this will stay the same. But now we're causing cool. And now you've created something quite weird. You can save this. Let's save this in 16. So I was going to tap this, and now this has saved that randomized pattern. So go back to 10. Okay, we haven't changed anything. If we go to 16 now, it's going to be that randomized one. But with the locks still on. Go this. It's very cool. So much power, you know. Let's save it again just for fun. Although remember, we're only saving the kit. We're not saving the actual presets we've put in. We are saving this initial pattern, of course. Epic. We can also shuffle. I'm going to save that in number 11. See, remembers to shuffle as well. Oh, actually, it doesn't by the looks of it. Oh, did I not save it? Hang on, let's see if it does. Yeah, so it remembers the shuffle settings as well. Now, anytime we want, we can go and change out the patch. So as an example, we go back to our main page here where we can see our samples being used, right? And all these presets you'll see that I put in are now being remembered as individual patterns as well. So that means you can go to any of these anytime you load up a project or a program. You can use these presets, you know. But look, let's say for instance, well, okay, I maybe want a different, let's change that bass guitar to some sort of synth bass. So let's just tap on it here. And I'm going to go to, on my iPad, go down to Cubase's where most of my samples are for the iPad. Go into audio, go into my samples. I'm going to use, again, I'll use some, well, yeah, I'll go with some stuff from Dean. I think there might be some bass stuff in here. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to go and find I want to find a bass synth. So I'm going to go to, I don't know. There'll probably be a cut here while I'm trying to find a bass sound. Hang on a minute. What have I got going on in Dean stuff here? We've got something reflective. Let's have a look. Bass, loads in here. I'm just going to make sure that I know the key as well. I'm going to choose this Billy bass one. Okay, I'm going to click OK. And now that's changed this sample to that. Oh, that's better. Okay, so let's play that now. And now if you like your new bass, click save and it'll save the settings. Okay, awesome stuff. And you can do that with any of them, of course. And you might think that's a bit high for the bass, but of course we could go in and just reset the pitch on all of these. Maybe go down to C2, A2, take that up to C3. Let's take this down to C2. Let's take that up to an F. Well, you get the idea. You can just retune it and just bend your time. And of course, it will remember the settings you've made in your pattern. See? So everything is remembered, so. Guys, if you've watched this via Premiere, thank you very, very much. That was a good look at Playbeat and how you can make your own banks, and you can load a bunch of these in. Like I said, you go in, you find the preset pack that you've made. For instance, my TSTR one here, you can create a new bank anytime you like, a new pack, and then all you're doing is whatever you create, you just drag it into your new folder sort of thing. So from wherever you want, you can just drag them in, and then you can export the entire pack and send it to somebody else. You know, epic stuff. I am going to have a play around with I quite like this one I did earlier. So, but you'll see something now, right? Before I go, let me quickly explain something. You see this is on 128. If I choose this now, okay, so, and I press play. Okay, you see all these patterns we created? Well, these will all relate to what's going on in this pack. So this would be that wild one we had, and there's most of this stuff is muted. There's no sample in this pack here. So there's a thing to remember. Sounds off its head, that rest. Let get back to something sensible. Let me reload it again because I've messed it up now by messing with these patterns. So, right, this is a drum loop, right? And that drum loop is 128 BPM. And if I look in my sample page where my samples have been loaded, we look here, look. This is the loop that I use and it's 128 BPM. If you change the loop length, it's not going to sound right. So if I was to say set this to, and go back here, it's not going to be right. So if I bring everything else back, it's going to sound crap. So a tip is, if you're working with loops, make sure that your BPM of your Playbeat project you're working with is set to the BPM of the loop. And Playbeat will default to something like 120, so you're going to need to adjust it if you've used loops. Of course, you don't need to use loops. That last session we created didn't use loops, but this one did, and it was set at 128. So I had to set the session to 128 to accommodate the loop. But of course, once you've accommodated the BPM loop for the for the tempo for the loop, put a little, don't forget that this cuts itself off every single time it hits another sample. So but watch, so you can create really cool fills. Okay, so, but it's a long loop. It's at least, I don't know, 4 bars long in real life, you know, but you can create some nice fills and stuff. Which is very cool. Anyway, guys, I'll play a few with these for a few more minutes, and I'll see you guys later. Ta-da. That might be a different BPM. Let's try and see. 110. So I used the drum loop in that as well. Much better.